All right, that was O Canada, and in just a very few months, you could be able to play that among many other wonderful songs on the baritone. So we're going to start working towards beginning baritone, and today I'm going to introduce the horn to you. This is it. It actually is a euphonium technically. The difference between a euphonium and a baritone has been long disputed. All right, let's take a look at the very beginning. We're going to be working out of the Essential Elements for Band book, and this is a standard beginning band book for bands all over the states. It's a pretty good book for learning out of. It has a very good approach to how to do this. And so we're going to start out today by learning how to play an F. That will be our first note. As you can see on the staff, the F sits on the fourth line from the bottom. Good Boys Do Fine Always is an acronym for all of the lines in the bass clef. A baritone can play in the bass clef and sometimes in the treble clef, depending upon how you learned, and they write parts for both. So let's take a look first of all. Okay, you're gonna have your horn, you're gonna set it in your lap, and however you need to hold it with your left hand to have it secure, to be able to hold it in a manner that doesn't make you tired, but it does make the horn to where it doesn't flop around a lot. So you can put your fingers on the valves, and you don't have to use your right hand to support the horn in any way, that you can just let them set very freely on the valves. Now, for the F, we won't need to use any valves. It is what you would call open. And you can play several notes open. F is not the only one, but F is probably the easiest note to play without pushing down any valves. And it sounds like this. That's an F. Now, without pushing down valves, you could also play. So if the first time you try to play and you put the horn to your lips, and that's what you get, well, you need to increase your airstream, make it go a little faster, maybe even have a sensation of very slightly tightening up your lips so you'll be able to play. Now, the way we produce this sound is you actually buzz the center part of your lips. Kind of like that. So you can buzz your mouthpiece. Now what you want to have is the corners of your mouth. You don't want to actually have to use a lot of muscles there, but you do want them to be firm enough that there ain't all kinds of spit and stuff coming out the sides of the mouthpiece. You put the mouthpiece directly in the middle of your lips, and you put as much upper lip as lower lip. It's about half and half in the mouthpiece. And you should be able to, you're not going, not do anything like that, but you want to be able to take in a breath, fill up your belly, and then when you release, your lips actually will naturally buzz in the mouthpiece if you have them placed together. You're not putting them together tight, nor are you hanging them all, way away from each other. They're going to be sitting there, and you almost can line your mouth up, if you're like me, along your teeth, and you can feel that. If you don't have any teeth, it'll probably be kind of hard to play the baritone, or any other brass instrument for that matter, because the teeth kind of it's the foundation against which you don't use a lot of pressure, but what little pressure there is, it will rest, that way against your mouth. Now, the first thing we have to do in the book is we're going to play a long note F, and then we're going to rest, and then we'll play again. When you first start playing, one of the most important things you can do is rest as much as you play. Don't play continuously till your lips swell up and hurt. If they swell up and hurt, give yourself a rest, because that's not a great thing. But they will tingle and feel funny at first, but it'll stop. You won't notice that after a few days. All right, so let's try to play that F. Now, you won't want to breathe so deep that it hinders how you let your breath out. If you imagine taking the biggest breath you can, all of a sudden you'll notice the attack is kind of harsh and funky because I had too much air. And so it's going to come pretty naturally to you. You're going to want to be able to breathe fairly deep, but not so deep as that it's causing stress that you can feel and will create stress in your playing. But you should be able to play your note for quite some time. You might even try timing yourself. A lot of people can play a note for a very, very long time. Now, this very first exercise where it says the first note, you're going to want to play that F and then rest and then play it again. We're going to kind of count 4 beats. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. And that's that. That's the first lesson. So do that several times until you feel like you can play it fairly well. Now, just producing that note isn't too tough. But what you're going to want to do is play it in a manner where you're controlling how it sounds at the beginning and at the end. Let's say, for example, you don't want it to sound like... You want it to sound... And you see how I just let the tone die away. You can practice different things and try to create a bit of musicality even in something as simple as playing one note. So just do that several times until you feel like, okay, I've got this. This isn't too hard. And then we're going to consider the next thing on the page, which it talks about the beat or notes. And the first thing you see is a little black dot on a stick, and it's called a quarter note. And it gets 1 beat. So that 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to become ta, 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 ta. Each quarter note will get exactly 1 beat. And then the second exercise here, you see you're playing that same F that you just learned how to play, but now you're going to play it 4 times. I'll count it so you can hear it. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, now you're done. Okay, that's the second exercise. You're just playing the same thing. Now, how do I get that? What you don't want to get is you don't want to attack the note with just your breath and no tongue where it's going to sound... You don't want that sound. You want to go ta, 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 ta. Your tongue is striking the roof of your mouth when you say ta. And you'll notice that if you do it. All right. So say ta, 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 ta. Now, when you're doing that, don't strike it really hard. Just not harshly at all. Just ta, ta, ta. Nice and lightly, you'll cut the sound off. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 ta. And that's about all there is to that second exercise. So, if you have the hang of tonguing those notes, ta, 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 this exercise will come very easily to you. Okay. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. if you can hear that note in your head before you try to play it, it will help you sound much, much better. It's just like singing. If you hear a note first and then sing it, you'll play it much more in tune. You'll sing it much more in tune. All right, so that's exercise number 2. We're going to go ahead and learn another note. We're going to learn E flat, and E flat is just you're pushing down that first valve with, of course, your first finger. It's going to sound a little lower than the F. And you'll do the same thing you did with the F. Play that note for an extended period of time and then rest. And then you'll rest for about the same amount of time as you played it, and then play it again. You can do that several times, as many times as you want to feel comfortable playing that note. And once you can do that, you will have completed the third line, a new note. All right, we'll do the same thing with the new note as we did with the old note. This E flat, we're going to play it 4 times. Now, you'll notice in Two's a Team, which is the 4th exercise, you'll notice that you get to use both of your notes. You get to use the E flat, which is first valve. You're going to rest 4 beats, and then you're going to play the F, which was the first note you learned, no valves at all, and it will sound like this. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. And you could probably play that over and over again. So you've learned 2 notes. You've learned what a quarter note is. Now, something else that I didn't tell you already is that those squiggly little lines you see are called rests. Those are called quarter rests, and they get the same amount of time as a quarter note would get, except you're not doing anything except counting in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd like to show you how to count in your head, but I just noticed that you're not going to be able to tell. So, but you're imagining it. It's resting. Rest, 2, 3, 4, and then you're playing. So very easy, right? Okay, so you've learned E flat, you've learned F. That's your first day of baritone playing. Now, if you can practice 30 minutes a day, that'd be nice. But if you can only get the horn out long enough to play through your stuff, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and you'll do it every single day, you'll be playing pretty well in a very short time. You could learn this entire book in way less than 6 months. That's probably about what I'm going to spend on this book, is about 6 months of daily lessons. Well, that was day number 1, and so I hope you got something out of it. And if you need any kind of instructions or extra information, please leave me a comment. I do check my comments, and so I'll get back with you and tell you anything that I can do to help you. I would be happy to do that. And so for now, that's lesson 1. Have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. But the truth of the matter is, it has nothing to do with how many valves it has, or even how big the bell is, or how big the horn is. What the thing about it is, a euphonium is what's called a conical bore instrument, where it just gets bigger throughout the horn. And a cylindrical bore, like the baritone, is more like a trombone, where from the mouthpiece through the valve casings, it doesn't get bigger. The bore stays the same. And so that's all very boring, so it doesn't really matter.